Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'll be ranking every Beyblade in Metal Fusion from worst to best. So let's go ahead and start with number 20, which is Storm Capricorn. I know, shocking, right? Anybody who's played Beyblade will probably tell you that this is definitely the worst one. And it's because it just doesn't survive long enough to be competitive with this Quake performance tip. I don't know why they added this feature. It makes the Beyblade a lot worse. It bounces around for an extra couple seconds and then it gets knocked out. Basically sums up this Beyblade in a nutshell. And at number 19, we have Flame Sagittario. Sagittario is bad mainly because of its spin track. What happens is defenders will get under him and then these claws will start hitting the bottom of the stadium and then it'll just knock itself out really. It's a crying shame, but that's just what happens about 80% of the time. And it's also too light to really defend itself. So you get any heavier defensive Beyblades, and they will just boss him around in the middle until he basically knocks himself out. And at number 18, we have Pegasus. Now, some of you would probably disagree with me and say Pegasus is actually the worst one, but I think Pegasus has the most potential to be good. It just suffers from the same things that Capricorn suffers from, and that's its aggressive attack type that has basically no stamina. It does counter other attack types pretty well, so that's why I put it a little bit higher. It counters Drago, obviously, counters Aquario, counters Cyber Pegasus, and it's also good enough to where it can knock opponents out pretty quickly. It just has to do it early in the game. And at number 17, we have Cyber Pegasus. Now, upon first glance, you would assume that this Beyblade would actually be pretty good. It's low to the ground, it's an attack type, and it has a pretty decent wheel on it. However, in my experience, it's just been mediocre at best, pulling off some upset wins here and there, but it's very inconsistent. And at number 16, we have Poison Serpent. Now, Poison Serpent is a balance type, and I guess it does a pretty good job at that. However, it's not really good at anything. It really tries to be like a sit in the middle defense type, but it doesn't have the characteristics to really do that. It's too light, and the wheel sometimes works against it. And if they can get under, like Dark Bull and some other Beyblades who hit under here, they can basically throw off its rotation with that, and it will just throw it out of the stadium. That's just the biggest problem is that it's just too light. And at number 15, we have Storm Aquario. Aquario was kind of hard to gauge on how good it is because it can switch between two modes. I think it switches between like attack and balance type, I think are the two modes. And it's kind of average at both. It's not, I think it's a better attacker in my opinion because it does have the storm wheel and that really helps its attack. But when it's a balance type, it kind of struggles a little bit more because it doesn't have like the weight to be a balance type or to be a defense type in the middle. It just gets kind of thrown around. So it's a better attack type, and even then, it's still pretty. I would say it's better than the other attack types we've looked at so far, but it's not the best one. And at number 14, this one really pains me. We have Libra. Now, Libra is a stereotypical stamina type. It is just basically made just to survive as long as possible. However, that strategy just doesn't work against mainly two types of Beyblades, and those are attack types and defense types. And what happens is really any Beyblade that gets under it, which are defense and attack types, it throws its balance off and it has a hard time recovering from there. And if they keep persisting while its balance is off, it just loses. So it's really good in mirror matches, like against other stamina types. It's really good against balance types. Anything that it can stand toe to toe with for a long period of time, it's going to win. But anything that can get under it or throw its balance off, it it the match is basically over. And at number 13, we have Dark Bull. Now, Dark Bull is one of the more balanced types, I guess. Um, the reason why I have him above Libra is that he has this unique spin track, which allows him to defend himself from a lot of defenders who try to get under him. He has a decent enough stamina to where he can beat most attack types. He also has good weight, so he can hold the middle position pretty well. And his attacks as well also can throw off other stamina types when he can get under them. If he can't get under them, or if he can't like pin them down, then he'll lose. So he is weak against stamina, but he's basically good against every type. And at number 12, we have Dark Wolf. Dark Wolf is a balance type that has a unique performance tip, which allows him to switch between a stamina and attack type in the middle of the match. So that's always pretty fun to watch. He's mainly a stamina type, though. His stamina is just enough to where he can stand toe to toe with other stamina types, and he can also beat most balance types as well. And he also poses a pretty good threat to other attack types. He really only struggles against defense because defense can block his attacks, and they can also get under him because he's just tall enough to where they can just get under him and punish him for that. But other than that, it's a pretty well-rounded Beyblade. And at number 11, we have Burn Phoenix. Phoenix is a stamina type that does really well against any Beyblade in the middle. It has slightly more attack power than Libra, which is why I put it higher than him. And the only real downside is, again, any Beyblade that can get under him. So that's any defense type that hits lower is able to throw off his balance and take him out. All right, that's all I have for you today. Stay tuned for part 2.